What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking everything belly dance. So I wanted to make a fun informational video about the 5 things I wish I knew before I started belly dancing. So this is a video that is really for everyone if you're interested in the topic, or you want to start dancing, or you are a seasoned dancer and want to relate to me a little bit about what I've been through. Keep watching, hit that subscribe button if you guys want more beauty, lifestyle, and dance content coming your way. As we're going into the new year, this is gonna mark my 8th year of taking dance super seriously, and I would say my 11th year of just dancing overall. So I have learned quite a bit. I'm definitely still learning, but you know, if I can go back into a time machine, back when I was a baby belly dancer, and give myself some tips, some warnings, this would definitely be the video. So I came up with 5 different things that I basically wish I would have known before I started, and it would have definitely made my journey a lot easier to go through. So the first thing that I would tell anyone that is interested in dancing or doing this as a profession, but especially those who want to do this as a profession, the first thing that I would definitely let you know, or the thing I would have wished I would have let myself know, is that you are going to need a lot of money. So what do I mean by this? I just mean you're gonna need a lot of money. Girl, if you don't have a job, you better get one. You better start applying. Or, you know, if you get an allowance every week from your parents, or, you know, your husband gives you a certain amount of money, or etc., whatever, you better start saving that money. No more buying clothes, no more buying makeup, no more buying anything. All your money is gonna go into dance. So before I started dancing, I definitely did not know how much money it takes to become a professional dancer, and even how much money it takes to maintain being a professional dancer. It's not really something that, you know, you would think is like that expensive, but once you're in it, get ready to swipe that credit card a lot. Let me give you a little bit of insight of how much it's really gonna cost you. So let's start. First things first, anybody who ever starts dancing takes monthly classes. And monthly classes, it depends on your area, depends where you live, depends the teacher you're learning from, but they can range anywhere. I'm just gonna do a ballpark figure of, let's say, like $120 to $180 a month. And this usually includes like 1 to 2 classes a week. And this is what you're gonna start off. This is gonna be your foundation. This is how usually everyone starts. And then that's it. So that's already $120 to $180 a month that you are going to be spending. But let's say, you know, you wanna take this a little bit further. You wanna be serious about dancing, right? You would like to do this as a profession, or you wanna just become a really good dancer. Well, that means that you're gonna have to invest in private classes. And privates can go anywhere from like $65 an hour to $100+ an hour, depending on the teacher that you're going with. So, and you're gonna need at least probably, I would say in the very minimum, 1 to 2 privates a month, preferably more, especially if you are more in those beginning stages, or you're in the intermediate stage, and let's say you have a performance coming up, you're probably gonna need at least 4 or 5 privates before that performance. So you're adding on the privates. So that's just bare minimum of classes, and that's assuming that you're dancing with one instructor. If you really want to become a good dancer, you need to take classes with more than one instructor to really grow. So add that price, add monthly classes, add private classes, and you know, when the world does go back to normal, there are belly dance workshops. And workshops usually come maybe like a few times a year, and those can be anywhere from $120 per workshop, or if you get a package, you could be paying $300 to $500. And this is all for your education. So you want to start thinking of this in a really different way. You want to think, I am cultivating a craft, almost like you're getting a degree. You're getting your master's, but in belly dance. You really need to learn and invest in your knowledge and your education. Otherwise, your career or the dancing you want to do is not going to go very far. So we have education fees. And then on top of that, let's say you want to start performing. So you're going to need a costume, right? And I mean, in the belly dance world, it's just an unwritten rule, but you don't have to. But every performance, people always get a new costume. And costumes can range anywhere from really, really cheap, super dirt cheap, is $150, and it can range to $500. So usually the medium range for a costume is around $300, $350, and it's almost guaranteed the costume's never gonna fit you right. So you need to pay to get it tailored, unless you pay to get it perfectly made for your body, and then that's obviously gonna be in the $450 and up range. So that's the costumes. Plus, you got to think about your props. So you're going to be buying veils, you're going to be buying finger symbols. Each of those may cost like $50 to $80 depending on how lavish your prop is. So that's just the bare minimum of what you need. And we've already gone over $1,000, well over $1,000, especially if you go into like a whole year. And then when you want to become more professional, you're going to need more privates, you're going to need more costumes, you're going to need photo shoots, and photo shoots can, be very expensive as well. You're going to eventually need a website, you're going to need to have, videos done of you. You're going to need a lot of money. And I feel like the bulk of the money I have spent on Bellydance really has been in my education and taking classes with different people, going to different festivals. But yeah, so you're going to need a lot of money, and you're going to have to invest and change your mindset into, if I really want to be good at this, if I really want to exceed, I'm going to have to invest my money into dancing. So save up your money, start saving now, but it is well worth the reward. The second thing that I wanted to talk about that I wish I would have known beforehand, and this is something, I really do wish I would have known before I started, but it all kind of depends on which teacher you start with and who guides you. Where do you start in your belly dance journey? So the second thing is that competitions really are not that important. Oh, and I don't mean this to take away anything from anyone that has ever won a competition at all. Like, kudos to you. I think that's absolutely amazing. And it's not just because I haven't won one before, but it's more, competitions do not mean that you're the best dancer, and it doesn't mean that you're a bad dancer either. Competitions, especially in the belly dance world, because that's the only world, I can talk about dance-wise, are very biased. For example, let's say you're going to a festival, like a yearly festival that you have. There is gonna be a group of teachers that are the judges, and maybe one of them might be your teacher, or maybe some of them you've never met in your life, and they dance completely different styles than what you dance. So that night, you're gonna dance one piece against random other dancers who maybe, they may be really on student level, they may be really on professional level, you don't know. And there might not be a lot of people competing against you, or there might be a lot of people competing against you. And those specific judges with those specific style of dances are gonna be judging you. How you're gonna do is all gonna depend on how those specific judges judge your piece, that one piece. Does that mean that you're the best dancer in the world if you win? Absolutely not. Does it mean you're the worst dancer in the world if you don't win? Absolutely not. It just means on that specific night with those specific judges, you did well or you did bad in their opinion. And it doesn't make or break you. And I feel like sometimes a lot of teachers can really put this pressure on you, or you can see on social media and in the dance world that you have to win a competition to be a successful dancer. You have to have that on the resume that, I've won first place professional, I've won first place rising star, but it really doesn't mean that you're a bad or good dancer. It just means that, for that moment and for that night, you did really well, or you did really poor. And it doesn't make or break you. It's a great thing to have on your list of achievements, but in your own mind, do not think that that is the top goal, and once you have won something that you're good, you don't have to try anymore, you don't have to keep learning, because it's just not the truth. And in reality, in these festivals, there are some festivals where the instructors are biased. Maybe their own student is competing, and maybe they want their own student to win. You don't know exactly what's going on, or maybe you're a type of dancer that's really good at something that you weren't able to show that night. So I just kind of want to, in a way, for new dancers that are starting, or even for dancers that have been dancing for a while and always have had this goal, it doesn't mean everything. Competitions are absolutely amazing to put pressure on you, to work really, really hard, to give your absolute best, to push yourself. And it's a great way to grow. And I really recommend, if you're thinking about doing that, look at it to grow. Don't look at it as that this is gonna make or break my career, and if I don't succeed, like, it's over. Everyone has something in them that's very special, and I think, you know, this whole competitive vibe and world, it tends to take that away, because you want to look like those people who are winning. You want to do the things that you need to do to win in your performance, but maybe it's not true to you. So that is something, you know, I really wish that I would have known, and I wouldn't have judged myself so harshly on whether I won a competition or I didn't. This next one kind of goes with the first one. So you're gonna invest a lot of money, and the second thing you're gonna invest is a lot of time, and I mean a lot of time. I started dancing when I was 17, so I just graduated high school, so I was used to, you know, just hanging out with my friends, whatever, being lazy, this and that. But when you start taking dance professionally, you're going to have to change the way you live your life. And it's just the truth, because to be a professional dancer, you really have to put in a lot of practice. And when I mean a lot, I mean you have to practice as much as your body will possibly let you. You have to do weekly classes. You have to practice on your own. You have to pour your heart and soul. And this is just regularly. So let's say you have a performance coming up. You need to be practicing even more, and you need to be dedicating those hours and those times. And sometimes that means, you know, saying to my friend, I can't hang out with you. I have to dance. I have dance practice, because this is more important. You're going to have to learn to prioritize your time, where your dance practice is going to be one of the top priorities that you have. And if you don't make it a priority, it's just the truth, you're not going to get better, because the only thing that gets you better is practice. You can pay for a million classes, you can pay for, you know, a whole bunch of workshops and all the nicest costumes and all the nicest dance wear, but if you don't actually practice outside of those classes and you don't actually put in the hard work, you're never really going to get better. Eventually you'll get a little bit better, and I've seen this over time. A lot of people, they will pay so much money because they have the money for, you know, dance classes and clothing and photo shoots and all this stuff that kind of doesn't, it matters. Like, trust me, those things matter, but as you're already a really good dancer, they matter. But if you're not up to a certain level, what matters is your practice and your education. And basically, if you don't invest in your own practice and your own craft, and if you can't dance on your own without a teacher telling you what to do, you're never really gonna improve to that level that you wanna improve to. And I've noticed that over time, like you depend on your teachers to guide you and to give you criticism and to show you a way to go, but don't depend on them to practice. Don't depend on them to take your own initiative to do your own thing. You really have to put in a lot of time and a lot of effort. Realistically, I would say you should be practicing 6 days a week, anywhere from an hour to, you should be practicing 5 to 6 days a week, anywhere from like an hour to 3 hours a day. And always give yourself a 1 to 2 day rest break so your body can, you know, kind of, it doesn't get injured. And always give yourself a 1 to 2 day rest break so your body doesn't get injured, and, you know, it can kind of, you know, relax so you can go practice hard again. It's just the way that it is. And if you really love it, that's how you're gonna find out if you really love it, if you can really put in that work. So this one I find a little bit funny, because you always hear the phrase, the show must always go on. You see it in a million movies, and you see it in a million TV shows, but until you're a performer, you don't really feel that the show must always go on. And this is just the truth of the matter, especially in the belly dance world, and at least from my experience. So if you get booked for, let's say you get booked for a gig. For example, that day you're throwing up, you have a fever, you don't feel good, and this is your first time being booked maybe with like a certain company or, you know, with like a certain customer, and you've always wanted to be booked with them. This is your first time. This is your time to shine, but you wake up and you feel like complete crap. The truth of the matter is, it is not good to cancel. It's just not. on any type of show, especially let's say you have a festival show, you have a gig, it is just does not look good to cancel. No matter, I mean, unless like you're just dying and you're hospitalized, it doesn't look good to cancel. Number one, you're letting someone else get an opportunity that maybe you have had. Number two, belly dance jobs aren't always reliable. So they come and they go and they're super, super random. And you kind of have to be available to be random if you want it to make it a regular thing. So if you cancel, you're giving opportunities for someone else to get the job, which someone else will. And maybe they won't call you again. Maybe they will. Maybe it'll all be fine. But at the same time, you're losing that opportunity. And with dancing, opportunity is absolutely everything because it's a live performing art. People can see music, people can see videos and pictures of you, but once they see you in person, they really get that impression of like, wow, they're a really, really good dancer. There's something about being in person versus in picture. So, the show kind of always goes on, and sometimes you would think it's easy to just cancel, like you can call off a work sick, right? Like, you don't feel good. Oh, I don't feel good. It doesn't work like that in dancing. There aren't any sick days in dance. Because in reality, there's probably only a very limited number of dancers who can actually do what you do themselves. And sometimes you can find someone to cover you and it's perfectly fine. But majority of the time it is hard because there's not that many dancers and maybe they're already booked, or maybe you do have a lot of dancers, but maybe you don't want to lose the opportunity. So something I have learned is that the show must always go on, no matter what is happening. Nature of the business, and if you want to get paid or if you want to perform, things in life is going to always happen. They're not going to always magically align, maybe for one show a year. But when you start getting more and more into it, you're going to have more and more shows. You're going to have more and more things that you just can't call out of. So you're going to have to learn how to put on the big girl panties and get out there and put on a good face. And, if you need to cry, if you need to throw up after, do it after. But for that moment on stage and time, just, just power through. So one of the last things that I wish I would have known before I started dancing is that it's a little bit of a two-parter, is that there is a bunch of misinformation and there is a bunch of information for you to learn. So sometimes I feel like in American society, you see a belly dancer and you're like, oh my God, like Shakira, or wow, like, all I need to do is just shake. I just need to shimmy like her and I got it. But what a lot of people don't realize is behind those, American facades of what is belly dance is a much deeper, complex art form that has a whole culture behind it. Like, it just doesn't come from Shakira. It doesn't come from like Aladdin. It comes from like the Middle East and Egypt and a bunch of different other places that have cultivated. And this is a cultural dance. This isn't just like... It's just not a novelty dance. It's a cultural dance that you are representing, and it is up to you as a dancer to represent it in a respectful, beautiful, and informed manner. So when I started dancing, I got a lot of misinformation that later on I learned, wow, that was never real. That really wasn't a thing. But I didn't know at first, so when you're starting, it can be really hard to know what is fact, what is fiction, and what is somebody's opinion, because since we live in America, we don't have this stuff like easily available online. Like, let's say you're a doctor and you go look in a book and you see, oh, okay, like, this anatomy is, the anatomy of the body is this, this, and this. And it's a concrete thing, and that is the correct answer no matter where you look. It's not like that with belly dancing. You really have to find teachers who are informed, who either are of the culture, or you need to find teachers that take the time to travel to the Middle East, who have had teachers who are of the culture, and you're really gonna learn the context behind it, because this dance is just so much more than just shaking. It's so much more than that. And as you're gonna grow in your dance journey, you're gonna see sometimes maybe you can offend people. Maybe you could do things that like aren't really real belly dancing, but you thought it was real because you saw someone doing it, or you saw someone on YouTube that has like millions of views. So it's really, really important to find someone that you trust. I mean, I have my mentor, Valeric Molinari. She teaches classes online. If you guys are interested, I'm gonna drop her Instagram down below. She's an amazing wealth of knowledge, and she has guided me so much in my own journey on to see what is actually fact and what's fiction. And I learned so much with her. I'm always learning with her, because this is important when you're dancing, and especially if you're getting paid as a dancer. It's important to know why you're doing certain dance movements, or if you're dancing to a song with like somebody singing, are you dancing to it wrong? Are they dancing about heartbreak and then you're just all like super happy? Like, you need to know your information, and you need to know what's misinformation. And this can take time, and that's totally okay. That's the beauty of the journey of becoming a Middle Eastern dancer. You're basically going to be learning a lot. Like I said, you want to take this like you're getting a degree and you're cultivating a craft. And it's going to take time. It's going to take study. It's going to take taking notes. It's really going to take a lot, but it is worth it, because when you put yourself out there, you can say you did the best that you did. You made informed decisions about the way that you're dancing, and you respected the culture that it comes from, which is really, really important. And you showed it in a graceful and beautiful way. And I think that's one of the most important things, if anything, that you can take from this video today. So yeah, guys, that is my 5 things I wish I knew before I was a belly dancer. So I hope you guys found this video interesting, or you found it really helpful if you are about to go start your dance journey. Actually pretty fun for me to kind of look back on what I've been through, and you know, what I continually go through. So I really do hope that you enjoyed this. So definitely hit the subscribe button if you guys want to see more dance content, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.